Welcome to Escape the Experiment. We're thrilled that you've decided to use this escape room style activity that allows young people to learn about vaping in a really fun and interactive way. As the facilitator of the activity, your role is to prepare the materials ahead of time, introduce the activity to the players, check answers, and generally keep things running smoothly. Don't worry about knowing all of the answers. We have a cheat sheet to help you out with that. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is familiarize yourself with the information on notanexperiment.ca. You don't have to be an expert, but it will be helpful to know some of the information about vaping in case players get stuck along the way, and so that you're prepared to talk to your group about what they've learned when the activity is over. So once you've familiarized yourself with some basic e-cigarette information, it's time to prep the activity. One of the cool things about this activity is that it can be adapted and used with groups with as little as 10 people up to 100 people. In this video, I'm going to explain the setup for a classroom setting of around 30 students. But if you're interested in learning more about larger group setups or combining classes together and doing one large group together, please contact your local public health unit to get the instructions, or email us directly at notanexperiment@sndhu.org. Escape the Experiment will take about 60 minutes of prep time in advance, and the activity itself takes about 60 minutes for players to complete, including a debrief discussion at the end. Your local public health unit may be able to help cut down on some of the prep time and the work involved. So if you're planning on using the activity, please feel free to reach out to them and see what they can offer you. The first step in preparing the game is to read through each challenge of the game and use the answer key to help you understand what is required and solve each of the challenges. This will help you be able to provide hints to your players if they need help along the way. Once you're familiar with the challenges, print a copy of the activity from the notanexperiment.ca website. Don't worry about using fancy paper or professional printing. And while the game does look good when it's printed in color, it is not necessary. We designed the game to print and function well when printed in color or black and white. Escape the Experiment was designed for players to work together to solve the challenges. Ideally, you'll want anywhere from 2 to 5 players per group, depending on how many students you have and your group dynamics. We recommend that teachers create the groups ahead of time, mixing group members who you feel will excel at the game with those who may struggle. So in the end, the groups are evenly matched. You will need to print or photocopy 1 copy of the game for each group of students you have playing the game. Now at the end of the game, you will notice that there are 4 lab books. Each group of students will need 1 set of the 4 lab books. Making the sets is easy. Simply, once it's printed, fold the paper on the fold lines and put the fronts to back of the books together. You can cut them out if you want, but it takes more time and it's not really necessary. Folding these lab books is also a task you can engage your players in. Seeing the lab books ahead of time before playing the game won't give them an advantage, and it will cut down on your prep time. So once you have enough copies of the game printed, it's best to organize the material into piles so that as the groups finish one challenge, it's easy for you to grab the next one and hand it out to them. So as you can see here, I've set this up with 4 different groups. And so each one of these piles is for one of the groups, and as they finish challenges, they'll come up to me and I'll be ready to hand them the next section. So once you have all the challenge sheets organized, the final thing you need to do is ensure that each group has a pair of scissors, a pencil for each group member, and some scrap paper to write stuff down on. So now that you've done all of the prep work, you can let the fun begin. When you start the game, explain to the players that they're going to be solving a set of challenges and puzzles in an escape room style game. Ask them by show of hands who's done an escape room or who's heard of an escape room before, and based on their responses, you can decide how much of an explanation they may need. So once they understand the basic concept of an escape room, you'll need to tell them how to play. Explain that you'll be giving them a series of challenges that they must solve in order to move forward. Emphasize the importance of the lab books. There is information hidden in these lab books that will help them solve all the challenges. When they think they have solved a challenge, have them either raise their hand or come to you so that you can check their answer. If they are right, you will give them their next challenge. If you're wrong, you'll have them try again. So here's a quick step-by-step run through of the game. So once you've done introducing the game, provide each group with the title page, the introduction page, and the Chem Lab challenge. After they've correctly completed the Chem Lab challenge, provide the door passcode page. Once they figure out the correct passcode, give them the biolab introduction and the brain puzzle piece page. Once they've completed the brain puzzle piece, provide them with the computer password solver challenge. Once that has been unlocked, provide them with emails 1, 2, and the keyboard page, along with decoder pages 1 and 2. Once they've decoded the 5 sentences, provide them with the story completion page and congratulate them on escaping the experiment. So as the facilitator, it is up to you to decide how much help to give a struggling group or player. You know your students best and understand that some may need more help than others. Start by reminding them that all the information they need to solve the challenges is in the clues along with those lab books. Sometimes just rereading the clue is enough to get them on their way. If they are still struggling, give them some hints about what they need to do, and as a last resort, you can provide them with specific instructions. It's ideal if all players are completing the challenges at around the same time and pace, but what's most important is that everyone is learning something and having fun. So if that means that some players get a little bit more help in order to help keep them up to speed and not get frustrated, then so be it. So once all the players have successfully escaped the experiment, take 10 or 15 minutes to talk with them about what they've learned. We have included a discussion guide in the instruction download to help facilitate this discussion. And for those who want to do more, notanexperiment.ca has links for lots of activities for them to take action, suggestions that young people can do to spread the word about the dangers of vaping with their peers, and more. We hope that you found this video helpful and that the players have fun and learn while they are escaping the experiment. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at notanexperiment@smdhu.org.